So the online business industry has spent the last decade building out the most comprehensive playbook for how to sell a prospect your offer. How to run the ads, how to build the funnels, how to close on a sales call, how to handle objections, how to launch a program, how to position it, how to price it. And founders have invested hundreds of millions of dollars into learning this. From the biggest names in the space, from the stages, from the masterminds, from the courses. And don't get me wrong, a lot of it works really well. The front end of most coaching businesses has never been more optimized, but there is a cost to all of that optimization that almost nobody is talking about. And it shows up in your churn rate, in your refund request rate. And it's why growth keeps feeling heavier the more you scale top line instead of lighter, instead of easier, instead of more systematic. So this video is going to cover 10 very specific things that the industry taught you that are actually costing you margin, because so many of these things don't account for what happens after a prospect says yes. So let's get into it. Number one, we were taught that close rate is the most important metric in our business. But close rate tells you one thing: how good you are at selling. It tells you nothing about what a client is actually worth, how long they're going to stay, how many people they're going to refer you, if they're going to upsell into a higher margin backend offer, or whether closing them was a good decision in the first place. Optimizing everything in our offer around the close rate only produces clients. It doesn't produce good clients. And if we have enough bad clients in the mix, what happens is all of our resources on the back end get dragged down. We don't have the margin. We don't have the extra discretionary expense and capital to actually put into nurturing and serving the good clients to get them to upsell on the back end into a higher margin offer that's actually going to make us more money. A 40% close rate that produces clients that churn in month 2 is so much more expensive than a 20% close rate that produces clients who consistently stay, ascend, and refer you business. And what's funny is the industry will celebrate the 40% close rate, but in reality, the math actually says the second one is a lot better. Number 2, we were taught that a longer program tells our client that this thing is more valuable. When we pitch a program and it's 6 months versus 8 weeks, the 6 months feels a lot more premium. But what happens when a client hits the core result that you promised them in, let's say, week 8 or week 9, and then spends weeks 9 through 24 thinking, oh, well, this isn't valuable for me. I'm going to dip out. I don't have anything left to learn here. And then they end up disengaging. They don't get primed for your upsell. They don't get primed or asked to refer people, and don't tell anybody about your program and how great it actually was. Length is not value. Momentum is value. So what you need to do is create the time frame of the offer to where at the moment the client is most likely to achieve the desired outcome, they're just about ready to start considering or to upsell into your higher margin backend offer. Number 3, we were taught that more content inside of a program means we have a better delivery system, more modules, more frameworks, more bonus resources. But the problem is the client who opens up your portal on day 1 and sees that there's 47 hour-long videos for them to watch before they can make any progress, they're not sitting there thinking, wow, this is so valuable. I got so much information. They're sitting there thinking, I don't know where to start, and they close the laptop before they've even begun. More content does not solve a systematic delivery issue. A clear, specific, and personalized path to the first result solves a delivery problem. And the rest is just noise that creates overwhelm, not transformation. Number 4, we were taught that high pressure closing techniques produce the best clients. Things like artificial urgency, false scarcity, pain amplification, NLP tricks. The industry has spent years perfecting getting the yes. And don't get me wrong, those techniques work. They close clients, but they also create your most expensive clients. The ones who close from an emotionally activated state are so much more likely to feel buyer's remorse within the first hours or days after saying yes, disengage a couple weeks later, and then ask you for a refund a couple weeks after that. But the client who took maybe a little bit more time than usual to decide from a genuine place of alignment is worth more to your business than 10 clients who decided from an emotionally activated state and were pressured into a fast decision that they simply were not ready for. Number 5 is we were taught that the launch model is the most scalable way to grow our business. The problem is the launch model produces revenue in spikes. It's very big months followed by a lot of slow months. But between the launches, the business actually starts at 0, and then the founder spends their energy manufacturing urgency instead of building a business that will compound and make it easier to grow. So businesses that actually scale without this hamster wheel are the ones that build back-end revenue, things like referrals, retention, upsells. And that means every month starts somewhere, but the point is, it's not going to be from 0, whether a launch is happening or not. Number 6 is we were taught that client success is simply a cost of doing business. Think about for a second where the budget goes in most online businesses. Sales gets the investment, marketing gets the investment, branding gets the investment. Client success gets whatever's left over, along with a mandate to make sure that clients don't refund, clients don't complain. And that belief that client success is a necessary cost of doing business is one of the most expensive beliefs in the entire industry. Your client success team is talking to your clients every single day, every single week. They are in the room during every single spike in belief a client has about your product or service. Every single breakthrough, every single moment where the client has a win, where they feel this rush of adrenaline because they achieved a result that they've finally been looking for years and years. And if their only job is to prevent problems, then all of those opportunities for you to make way more revenue on the back end than you ever could imagine on the front end disappear. Number 7 is we were taught that if a client churns, it's because they didn't show up properly. Now, obviously, this one is an overgeneralization, but you get the point. When a client churns as an industry, we don't take a second to stop and look at, hey, what could we have done in the process to make sure that either A, this client didn't churn, or B, to prevent them from doing it again. And I'll give you a secret here. Most churn actually traces back to something that happened within the hours or days after someone said yes. It was an expectation that wasn't met, a piece of onboarding that had a lot of friction in it, or something that just simply left the client with a sense of doubt that never fully got checked and just continued to grow and expand throughout the rest of the offer. Number 8 is we were taught that testimonials at the end of an offer are the most credible form of proof. The industry has this habit of collecting the testimonials right when a client is leaving, but a client at the very end of your offer has normalized all of the results that they've gotten. The emotional charge that they got in week 2 or month 2 from this win that they've been looking for God knows how many years is completely gone, and they've normalized that now into saying, yeah, that happens to me on a random Tuesday. It's nothing special anymore. The most credible and compelling proof you will ever get from a client comes directly after their first real win. That is the moment that they say things that you can capture on camera that will authentically close other clients. Number 9 is we were taught that adding more deliverables in the back end fixes a retention problem. If your client retention numbers are dropping, the instinct is, well, we just need to add more delivery. We need to add more coaching, add more modules. But retention almost never drops because the clients aren't getting enough value. It drops because the clients aren't feeling enough. The emotional experience of being in your offer, in your program, is what keeps people. It's not the deliverables. It's not the things. It's the feelings. Adding more deliverables to a retention problem is like turning up the volume on a song that nobody wants to listen to. And number 10, we were taught that the goal is to close as many clients as possible. We've gotten into this really bad habit where volume is how we as an industry measure success. More clients, more revenue, more growth, more content, more calls, and founders will then optimize accordingly. But a business that closes more and more clients that it can't properly serve does not scale. The backend gets overwhelmed, delivery quality drops, churn accelerates, and then the founder has to end up taking more time to step in and try and ad hoc fix processes as you go, which then requires closing even more clients to keep up with the churn and the clients that you're losing. And this is what I call the high ticket hamster wheel. So to get off of the high ticket hamster wheel, what do you need to do? You need to close the right clients and make each one of them worth significantly more than the average client you currently work with. How do you do this? You make sure that the clients you bring in are the ones that are primed and have made an authentic decision to actually join you, not from a place of pressure or NLP manipulation, but are actually saying, hey, yes, this is exactly what I need right now. And they're the ones who you know you can scalably, consistently, systematically get very quick results at scale so that they have other revenue events after the initial yes. This is the key here. Make sure that you can close clients that are likely to upsell, send you more people, stay longer, have more revenue events after the yes. That is how you increase your average client's LTV. That's how you work with sometimes half as many clients and make sometimes 3 to 5 times more money than when you were working with your full book of business. So if you need help figuring out which of these beliefs are most currently embedded in your business, comment the letters CSD below to get more information on bringing my team into your business to make twice as much money and work with half as many clients.